lots going on around the world, and I led off the show today talking about, this old phrase, first they came for the communists, then they came for the socialists, then they came for the trade unionists, then they came for the Jews, then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up for me. As it stands right now, Teddy Roosevelt gone, some Christopher Columbus is gone, and now the attacks continue on George Washington statues. As long as today they said they want to start targeting Jesus statues and Jesus' mom, his European mother, as they referred to her. Public interest attorney John Banzhaf joins us right now, and you get this guy on your case, you got a problem to begin with. But now it seems he's a nationally known public interest attorney, professor at George Washington University Law School, and now it seems, John, that they have encroached on your territory and beheaded a George Washington statue right on the campus of George Washington U.
You got it exactly right. I teach at George Washington University. We've got many statues of George Washington around, and the rioters toppled one of them last several days. Now, this is important, I think, for several reasons. Number one is they're doing the same thing in other cities. In Portland, they toppled George Washington. In Chicago, they graffitied him. In other places, they're attacking him. So it's not just George Washington, as you say. You've got even people like somebody on CNN says, quote, tearing down all George Washington and Thomas Jefferson statues because they are slave owners. So we're going beyond Confederate soldiers and so on, where people might have a legitimate objection. You go after all the founding fathers with all the statues and everything in the city, that's a big problem. Secondly, here we're at George Washington University. We've got dozens of these statues. Now at this point, the campus is almost empty. But in a couple of months, we're going to have tens of thousands of students on our campus. Some of them may decide they feel the same way. Or if there are outsiders who want to desecrate a George Washington statue, they can easily hide among these tens of thousands of students. And the third problem is our university is doing nothing. They didn't announce that it happened. They didn't denounce what happened. They didn't call it an act of vandalism or terrorism. They didn't say anything. And that's very troubling.
So this sounds like an instance where you should spring into action and bring a civil case against anyone we can identify who the perpetrators of it.
Well, at this point, we don't know who the perpetrators are, unfortunately. And secondly, the action would have to come from the university. Now, here's a university which frequently reacts, I might say overreacts, when things occur. Somebody posts something on Twitter or on Facebook or something which some other group thinks might be offensive. Boy, they announce it, they denounce it, they crack down, they have indoctrination programs. In one case, they almost expelled a student for doing it. Here, right on our campus, they beheaded our namesake. They didn't announce it. They haven't denounced it. They haven't said anything about it. And it wouldn't have come to light except one of our students happened to come by, see what happened, took a picture and posted it up on the internet. Now they're forced to admit it, although they're just listing it as one of several examples of graffiti on the campus. This isn't just another example of graffiti. This isn't even like somebody spray painted a swastika, as somebody did a couple of years ago. They've destroyed a statue of our namesake, and George Washington University has said and done nothing at all.
Wow. So let me ask you this, John. You got this this crazy cat, this far left activist guy, Shaun King. He's now calling for Antifa and Black Lives Matter to tear down all European Jesus statues. I feel like because our country was kind of founded on, Judeo-Christian values, I feel like that could be really the tipping point where people go nuts if they start going after Jesus and Mary statues. What do you think about that? Is that over the edge?
No, I think you're exactly right. And in fact, if one wants to follow that kind of logic, we could go back much further. As I understand it, the ancient Greeks had slaves. I think Plato, Aristotle, our two greatest philosophers, Hippocrates, who the father of modern medicine. We still take an Hippocratic oath before people become doctors. I think many of them had slaves. We know that American Indians had slaves. In many other countries, there were slaves. So if we're going to denounce, much less tear down, destroy statutes, plaques, and so on of everyone who ever had slaves, we're in for big trouble.
Without a doubt. Hey, Doc, John, I'm sorry. I want to ask you something because you're an academic and you're on the college campus. I'm alarmed and something in my personal life. My daughter is a fourth-year nursing student at Wagner College, which is a pretty darn good nursing program, okay? And she's in a program which is kind of an elective, one of these she has to take. And her teacher, her professor, sent her a poll asking her if income inequality is desirable, if the level of income equality in the country is too high or low. And then these two really bothered me. The question to the student is, a nursing student, when you work for a company, do you feel that you are being exploited as Marx thought? And the next one is, what do you think of Occupy Wall Street? Do you support it or oppose it, and why? And I'm wondering if they're profiling my daughter. I don't know why they would be asking a student in a nursing program to answer what their views are on Occupy Wall Street and Karl Marx.
I think the answer is this is just what is typical of happening at so many universities. They are going beyond teaching, whether it's reading, writing, and arithmetic, or calculus, or physics, or chemistry, and they're trying to get into what some people call social justice. They want to find out what students think about issues, and then in many cases, all too many cases, they want to indoctrinate them. Everybody coming into George Washington University must undergo an indoctrination about diversity and inclusiveness. And all of this started because two women in a sorority posted a picture on Facebook showing one of them holding a banana peel and saying something like, Izzy, I think I'm 132nd black. Now, sure, that's insulting, arguably degrading to African Americans, but does that mean everybody should be indoctrinated into whatever the university views is inclusion or fairness? Should we be telling students what to believe about affirmative action or many of the other problems? I don't think so.
No, I'm
I
with
think
you.
if somebody's teaching nursing, they ought to teach nursing. If they're teaching physics or calculus, they shouldn't be telling people about inequalities in income distribution or who's right in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
Yeah, it's some kind of sociology class or something that she's taken in the summer as a an elective. But it just, I almost wanted to reach out to the professor and say, hey, I'm wondering why you're asking my daughter what her views are. Like they should, I feel like you said that, I feel like they're indoctrinating them. And going back to that student on your campus, one that allegedly was 132nd black, it still makes that student, more black than Elizabeth Warren was American Indian, because she was like 1/2000 or something.
We don't know if she really was black or not, but just to give you an inkling of how bad it is on our campus, and I think on many other campuses, somebody as a joke started circulating a petition asking the university to get rid of those crossing signs which show a symbol of lights saying you can cross. Why? Because it's a white man telling people that it's now okay to cross. A crossing light. And students signed it. One professor actually almost signed it, but a number of students signed it saying, yes, it's discriminatory. It's not inclusive to have some white guy telling you when you can cross the street. So are we going to have black lights telling people when they can walk across the street? I don't know how you're going to see them.
It's getting scary about a minute. Maybe we got to make them rainbow people to keep everybody happy. But John Banzhaf, thank you so much for always taking some time out of your day for us. We love spreading your message also. Thank you very much. We'll check in with you soon, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John. All right, we're going to take a quick break right here. We're going to come back with Nicole Malliotakis, congressional candidate for New York, and she's in a primary today. We'll see in what she's doing right after this.